exclusively on DAZN. On the world's biggest stage, a champion with a disputed crown. A self-proclaimed king without a throne. Both have a point to prove. Can one of the biggest names in boxing finally be crowned world champion?
It's going to be a hell of a fight.
Barrios versus Garcia, February 21st. Watch only on DAZN.
This is Jolie here for talkSPORT. I am with Eddie Hearn, who has announced a plethora of fights in 2026. It's good to see you here announcing a 5-year deal with DAZN too.
Yeah, and you guys have got me for another 5 years minimum. So I'll be going into my 50s with DAZN. Very happy, very motivated, very determined, more than ever. Excited about the fights coming up, excited about the talent that we've got, and you know, the global footprint of what is a minimum of 30 shows a year for the next 5 years, probably more like 40 time I finish with them, you know. But yeah, really excited, very happy, and now we can really continue to build the future for our fighters and their plans.
How do you feel about Callum Smith fighting David Morrell? It's an incredibly tough fight for an interim fight. You know, he wanted that world title shot, but for a mandatory challenger, it's difficult.
You know what? When you announce a fight, it's very easy to see what people think of the fight, right? Straight away, the numbers are going through the roof, right? The interactions going through the roof. Every page is sharing it. The phones are going in the office. When do we get tickets? When, you know what I mean? So I hate that Callum's in a tough fight, but I love the fact that we're bringing a brilliant fight to the city. And if we're going to have a fight like that that's so tough, if we can bring it to the city, then it's fantastic. And that's what we're doing April the 18th. Brilliant fight.
Dana White has commented on your relationship recently on Saturday after the boxing event he put on, and it was probably the most aggressive he's been in terms of the back and forth, saying your rivalry's like beating up babies. It was quite dark. What did you think when you saw that?
Really frightening comments, really. Very strange comments as well. Not a kind of phrase or words that I would use. It normally takes people a good few years to be battered into submission before they say, he works for his dad. Do you know what I mean? But he's done it within like a month. So I don't know what's happened there. I mean, look, Dana's always been very complimentary of what we did. I think if you look at behind this board about when you talk about vision and what we've done for boxing, I think we've been visionaries. You know, right now, and I know they're only, 4 or 5 shows in, but their vision is Callum Walsh fighting main event with Max Kellerman telling you that he's the next Roy Jones, and Charles Martin headlining on a Sunday night in front of 150 people in a garage, in a ring that looks like it was pulled out of a club show. So what vision's that? You know, I mean, what they're trying to do actually is, I feel like, manipulate fight fans and tell you that this is the best. The Zuffer belt is what matters. But fight fans are much smarter than that. They're not idiots. Trust me, I know them inside out. So you might get the casuals going, oh yeah, wow, Zuffer belt, yeah, that's amazing. But the reality is, fighters know that's not a real belt. That's not the best. What you're watching in the Apex is not the best v the best. Now, are there some good matchups? Yeah, mainly between guys that I've actually never really heard of before, and that doesn't matter. But don't tell us it's the best v the best. Because if I put on Charles Martin on a headline fight, I would get fucking ripped to shreds. So let's see the same energy for Mr. White. I wish him all the best. As you said, you know, normally takes them a while to get personal enough to say that I work for my dad. I mean, you could say that the Fatisa brothers are also his father because he works for them. But let's be honest, right now, Dana White has a new father. He has a new pappy. And pappy is Turkey Al Sheikh. And Dana White works for Turkey Al Sheikh. So good luck, get on with your job and be a good boy.
We haven't seen you since Deontay Wilder came on talkSPORT, on Talk Boxing to be precise. You will have seen that within hours, it was everywhere. What did you think of the comments he was making, and specifically the back and forth with him and Simon Jordan?
There's always, look, Wilder's great TV, right? I mean, I think Simon did very well as well. It's quite, you know, I mean, I know there's security in there, but it's, my bum would have been squeaking, to be fair. And, you know, it was good TV. I think Wilder comes out with some wild stuff a lot of the time, like some wild accusations. And he keeps saying, I've got the proof, I can back. It's like, well, we'd like to see a little bit of that because it just sounds like, you know, but, you know, I'm looking forward to the fight. Del Boy's here over there somewhere, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in April again on DAZN.
Did you see John Fury kick off as well? It was very strange. He just took his jacket, I believe, off, and we started recording him, and he went for Carl Froch. Lennox got involved in the conversation as well. What did you make of that, Eddie?
Yeah, John's John, and again, he's great TV, right? Like, you know, and you know, if they get close, then Carl Froch ain't going to play no games. But John's a big lump as well, so you know, maybe we want to see it.
Do we have any kind of update on AJ's health, his well-being? Not on return or anything of that nature, but what was the last kind of conversation?
He's not ready to return to camp yet. You know, obviously the plan was to fight in March and then fight Tyson Fury. So, you know, we know that we're not fighting Tyson Fury next. I think we'll return in the summer, but we will only decide that when he's ready to do so physically and mentally. So, you know, right now we're kind of making tentative plans for his next fight, but we won't really make any solid plans until he returns to camp and sees how he is physically. And that's no time in the immediate future, but, you know, hoping that could come in the next month or so. What
is he getting up to on a day-to-day? Obviously, such tragic circumstances in the way Lats and Cena passed. Is he, obviously, we've seen his training. What is he getting up to? Because he's used to training all the time.
That's what he's doing, just training all the time. And he'll never stop doing that, you know. There's different kind of training, of course, you know. He's not boxing training because of his injuries, but he's doing his recovery and, you know, in many different ways. He's just been to Oman for a big project that he's working on out there. He's got endless corporate and sponsorship deals that he has obligations to do. So there's a lot to do. And I think in that kind of circumstance, you almost want to be as busy as possible, you know, to sort of take your mind off things that have happened, but also give yourself the time for reflection, which he does as well. So he's in as good a place as you can be. Still hurting in many ways, I'm sure, but very focused on getting better and getting himself in a position, not necessarily to fight, but certainly to return to training camp.
Final one then this weekend, Lee Wood, Josh Warrington 2, the rematch. It's big and it's in Nottingham. Yeah. You're going down tonight or tomorrow. How are you feeling about that fight?
I can't wait. You know, it's a fight that, you know, that's the kind of fights that we live for in British boxing. The rivalry, the build-up, you know it's going to be a thriller. 8,000 complete sellout. Ishmael Davis against Fawaz for the British and Commonwealth. I can't wait. Dave Allen returns on the card as well. Leo Atang as well. Sandy Ryan fights for the World Championship on that card. You know, it's a brilliant fight card, a brilliant night. And the week after, we're going to have 10,000 in Phoenix for Nunes Navarrete unification. So 2 big weeks for us on both sides of the Atlantic.
Great.
Live exclusively on DAZN. On the world's biggest stage, a champion with a disputed crown. A self-proclaimed king without a throne. Both have a point to prove. Can one of the biggest names in boxing finally be crowned world champion?
It's going to be a hell of a fight.
Barrios versus Garcia, February 21st. Watch only on DAZN.